All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain and look at the author's secret blueprint, that hidden craft that makes you feel, think, and believe exactly what they want you to.
You know the feeling, right? You're completely lost in a book, or you're swept up by an article, and you just find yourself totally convinced by an argument. It feels like magic, but here's the secret. It's not. It's a craft.
Right? And just like any craft, it has a blueprint, a set of plans that an author uses to build an experience for you, the reader.
And this is the fundamental idea you have to get your head around. Nothing you read is there by accident. Think about it. Authors are basically architects. They're making thousands of tiny, deliberate decisions to construct a very specific feeling or idea right inside your mind.
So, if we want to understand that blueprint, we need to learn how to read like a writer. And that means we have to shift our focus from just what the text is saying to how it's actually pulling it off.
And that, my friends, is what we call author's craft. You can think of it as the writer's personal toolkit, every little strategy they use, from the tiniest word choice to the overall structure of the whole thing. And every single one is designed to get a specific reaction out of you.
Now, you might think this ruins the magic, but it's actually the opposite. Reading like a writer doesn't spoil the show. It's about appreciating the incredible skill that goes into it. It's like you have a backstage pass to see all the scaffolding, the lighting rigs, and how all the special effects are really made.
So, what does this actually look like when you're reading? Well, it means you start asking all these cool questions. You're noticing the building blocks of the story, those powerful verbs they chose, the rhythm of their sentences, and even how they organize their ideas with stuff like headings or chapters.
Okay, so let's break this down. Let's take a closer look at a few of the most important tools in that writer's toolkit. First up, word choice. You'll also hear this called diction. Is a character just angry? Or are they furious, irate, or maybe even seething? Each of those words carries a totally different weight, right? It paints a much more specific picture in your mind. That choice is 100% intentional. Next, we have sentence structure. Short, punchy sentences. They create a feeling of urgency, like a rapid heartbeat. But then, you have a long, winding, elaborate sentence, one that just flows from one clause to the next with deliberate grace, and that can feel much more thoughtful or complex. The author is literally controlling the rhythm of your thoughts. It's wild.
And last but not least, we've got organization. This is the skeleton holding the whole piece together. Is the story being told chronologically from beginning to end? Does an article use bold headings to break up information and make it easier to digest? This structure is the author's way of guiding you, making sure you follow their path from point A to point B.
Now, I know this might all sound a bit academic or complicated, but here's where it gets really cool. This is a skill that can be taught, even from a very young age. Let's look at a real-world example of how educators are doing exactly that.
So this example actually comes from a curriculum guide straight from the Georgia Department of Education. They've got a whole framework for teaching students to see with an author's eye.
And it all starts with one simple but honestly pretty brilliant question. In a lesson about volcanoes, a teacher is prompted to stop the class and ask the students, why do you think they chose to use this word here? That one question is a direct invitation for a kid to step into the author's shoes.
And what's so great about this example is how clear it is when you put it side by side. The author could have just said the volcano was big. Fine, we get it. But they chose enormous. Wow, that paints a totally different picture, doesn't it? The lesson then gets kids to brainstorm even more descriptive words like giant, rocky, or fiery. And that perfectly illustrates the difference between just giving information and actually creating an experience.
And that right there is the whole point. By asking why, these students are moving beyond just summarizing what they read. They're starting to analyze the mechanics of persuasion, of emotion, of storytelling. They're not just reading words, they're learning to see the blueprint behind them.
Okay, let's bring this all home, because this isn't just some academic exercise. This is a skill you can start using right now, and it's like unlocking a new superpower for how you read.
And you can do it in 3 simple steps. First, just notice a choice. It could be a weird word, a really short sentence, or a heading that stands out. Second, ask why. Why did the author do that? And third, unlock the meaning. What effect did that specific choice have on me as the reader? And this superpower works for everything. I'm not just talking about novels. Think about that news article that got you all fired up, or the work email that somehow convinced you to take on a new project, or even an ad that made you suddenly want to buy something. They are all using author's craft.
So now, you have the tools.
You can see the blueprint hiding behind the words. The next time you pick something up to read, you won't just be a reader, you'll be a detective. So, I'll leave you with this. The next time you read something, what will you uncover?